This video only includes reality. Today, we focus on how humans can intentionally change their nervous system through specific behaviors, such as motor commands and balance. Movement and balance depend on the ability to change the nervous system in the desired direction, even if the changes do not involve learning new movements. The control of behavior is attributed to the brain and nervous system working together. Lower-level motor neurons in the spinal cord connect to muscles, allowing them to contract and relax. These neurons receive instructions from two sources, the brainstem and central pattern generators, which create repetitive patterns of movement. Higher-level motor neurons in the cerebral cortex send signals for voluntary movements, while lower-level motor neurons carry out the muscle contractions. The process of changing motor patterns involves identifying which circuits can be altered and understanding how the brain signals the need for change. The brain controls our behavior through various mechanisms, such as upper and lower-level neurons, central pattern generators, and connections to the muscles. We can use this knowledge to change our emotional experience, our belief system, and our ability to remember and use information. Behavior can also change the brain if it is significantly different from behaviors we already know well. However, it is important to be selective about brain changes and to focus on adaptive changes rather than trying to remember everything. For example, super learners have extreme memory but may struggle in other areas of life. The goal is to create adaptive plasticity, which means creating internal representations of the external world in our nervous system. This includes different maps for auditory, visual, and motor space, as well as proprioceptive feedback for movement. To stimulate neuroplasticity, it is necessary to create errors and inconsistencies that signal to the brain that something is wrong or different. Repeatedly making mistakes is a way of changing the nervous system to perform better. Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to change and adapt based on experience. Failure and mistakes activate neurochemicals that enable us to learn new skills and associate emotions with experiences. Certain neurochemicals need to be released in specific ways and at specific times to signal nerve cell circuits to change. While we sleep, these changes take place in the brain. The chapter discusses the role of dopamine in the process of neuroplasticity and how making mistakes signals the brain to pay attention and change. The text also highlights classic experiments that demonstrate neuroplasticity, such as wearing prism glasses to shift visual and auditory representations, and wearing glasses that invert vision. These experiments show that the brain's maps can be readjusted, especially in young people. However, plasticity declines with age, so it is important for younger people to have a wide range of experiences and for older people to learn to use the mechanisms of plasticity. Research in the Knudsen Lab and other centers aims to understand how adults can maintain brain plasticity similar to that of young people. It has been discovered that the signal that triggers plasticity is making mistakes, rather than external factors such as wearing prism glasses or seeing objects that look different. Errors signal to the nervous system that a particular movement or action is not effective, prompting the brain to recalibrate and adjust neural maps. However, many people find it frustrating when they are unable to learn a new skill or activity, not realizing that mistakes are crucial for signaling change. The brain responds to mistakes by releasing neurotransmitters and neuromodulators such as epinephrine and acetylcholine, which lead to increased attention, focus, and ultimately learning. Dopamine is released when progress is made, further facilitating brain changes. While older brains tend to be less adaptable, gradually increasing the level of difficulty or error tolerance can improve adult learning. Therefore, it is important for adults to accept and persevere through mistakes in order to harness the brain's plasticity and successfully learn new skills. The key to making mistakes with a smaller margin of error is to focus on smaller pieces of information in shorter periods of concentration. Research shows that the adult brain is capable of significant change, but in smaller steps. For example, if someone wants to improve their free throw shooting, they should focus on shooting for a limited amount of time, such as 10 to 100 shots, to avoid frustration. The aim should be to change the characteristics of the muscular movements. The focus should be on getting the ball through the hoop as the auditory, visual, and muscular neural circuits train each other. Other details, such as finger contact with the ball or body position, do not require as much attention. By understanding that mistakes are opportunities for growth, you can approach learning with a positive attitude. Mistakes and plasticity. The key to improving behavior is to try different parameters and make mistakes in certain aspects of muscle movement. Making mistakes signals to the brain that it's time to be plastic and change. Plasticity is a state of the brain and nervous system, not specific to what needs to be learned. Muscle movement is the easiest way to achieve plasticity. Learning in small steps and achieving the required number of repetitions helps the nervous system to make the necessary adjustments. Short learning sessions are important to avoid confusion. Short, focused learning sessions of up to 30 minutes can initiate plasticity in adults. A serious need or stimulus can greatly influence the rate at which plasticity is shown. Repetition alone is not enough. There must be a significant need or desire for change. Substance abuse is one area where this is important. The intensity of the belief and desire for change can lead to major changes. Taking small steps and creating a vital situation can help to achieve plasticity more efficiently. 90-minute ultradian cycle and learning. Ultradian rhythms divide the 24-hour day into 90-minute cycles, and these cycles also apply to our learning process. When studying or working towards a goal, it is important to understand the phases within these 90-minute cycles. In the first few minutes, our brains tend to drift, but by limiting distractions and focusing, we can enter a period of intense concentration for about an hour. Towards the end of this hour, our brains begin to wander, indicating a decline in concentration. It is advisable to stop learning after 90 minutes and move on to another activity. It is normal to make mistakes during the learning process. However, it is recommended to limit the period of continuous mistakes to 7 to 30 minutes within the 90-minute cycle. Making mistakes can be frustrating, but it activates mechanisms in our brain that shape and improve our learning. Frustration triggers opposing networks in the brain and nervous system, leading to marked changes in neurons and future improvements in task performance. In addition, negative experiences are more easily imprinted in our memory because our brain is primarily focused on keeping us safe. Such experiences lead to the release of norepinephrine and acetylcholine, which alert us to potential danger. On the other hand, positive surprises trigger a flood of dopamine, creating opportunities for learning and plasticity. Overall, understanding the 90-minute ultradian cycle and using the processes of repetition, error, and surprise can improve our learning and memory.